Welcome to Ray Presents. Today I have the privilege to talk to a great friend of mine, Karim Malouche, who is the head of performance for the Jordanian national football team. And he's here with me live from Jordan. I really appreciate your time. I know the time difference is let's just say it's very late to where you are. So I appreciate your time.
It's
Thank
always
you.
a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to see you. I mean, we
Yeah.
haven't seen each other for quite a while now, and I said earlier, thanks to Riverside now, we managed to see each other. So anytime Riverside, we can have a chat. So yeah, it's a pleasure to see you. It's always a pleasure. I mean, it's at 10:30 here in the evening, but still, I'm used to go to sleep a bit later than this due to work. So yeah, it's a perfect timing, let's say, for me.
So listen, I really appreciate time. I appreciate your time. It's been far too long since we've seen each other. Um, you know what? Given your multicultural, let's just start from the beginning. What is it that you do for the team, and tell me a little bit about your background, and we'll tell the people why I'm asking that question. Actually,
So I always say this question like when they ask my origins, and first I'm from mixed origins, mixed cultures, different religions. My father is originally from North Africa, from Tunisia. My mother is Romanian, sorry, Romanian from a German mother. And I grew up when I was little in Tunisia, and then I left around the age of 18 to France to study there and basically try to continue my life there. So yeah, after France and when I started working, that's when I started being all over the world and over the place. I've done Abu Dhabi in the UAE, then Dubai also in the UAE, followed by Jordan. I worked in France. Thanks to my job now with the team, basically it allowed me to travel a lot around the world, meet other people from different cultures, different beliefs, different religions, different nationalities, and yeah, it's always a pleasure to have a discussion with people because we are surrounded by by people from our culture where we understand how they behave. We always expect maybe how they would react to a certain, let's say, discussion or a certain conversation, but then when we travel we realize that not everybody is actually the same. So some other, you need sometimes to start subject differently, to communicate differently, uh, even with as little as making jokes. So it doesn't work the same making jokes in the UK than in Jordan. Like if I make a British joke and I use my British sarcasm here in Jordan, I don't think it will go well.
it's not going to pass. And I
No.
think that's part of the beauty of it, Kevin. The beauty of
Mm-hmm.
having that. Uh, you have this advantage of traveling around the world that you know all these little subtleties of, okay, I know I can do this here, I can say this over there, or I cannot say this over there. So given your unique multicultural background and extensive experience at the international level, in regards to football, that gave you the opportunity to travel around the world. What does diversity mean to you personally?
That's a very good question, to be honest. Diversity is, as I said, like um, I'm not a specialist, to talk about it, but still, like as I said, considering my background, my mother is Christian Romanian, my father is Muslim Tunisian. I grew up with these two religions in total harmony, and that's very important. I think diversity, I would say, I put it in two words. I would say education and communication. Diversity basically is accepting everyone as they are, no matter of their culture, no matter of their religion, no matter of the skin color, no matter of the country of birth, no matter, regardless of anything, is just being able to look behind all of that and through all of that when you speak to someone, when you discuss with someone, try to always understand them and not expect always everyone to behave the same way you behave, to act the same way you act, to speak the same way you speak, and that's acceptance as well. So I think diversity to me is main thing. To be able to understand diversity, to be able to let's say to talk about diversity, first I would say, like I said earlier, education and communication. You have to educate yourself. I'm lucky. When I say education, it's not like university or whatever. Like education, reading books, or to meet people, discussing with people, being open-minded to more everything culturally, religiously, etc. So we have to educate ourselves. It's our job as well to educate others. Um, if you try to do it with 100 people, you're not sure that 100 of them will accept what you are saying, but you have to do it still. It's like if two of them accept it and understand what you're saying, that's already a step ahead. And then the communication, as I said, we have to communicate. We don't have to isolate ourselves from somebody that we might think they are different. Because trust me, based on my career and other experiences that I lived, whether with FIFA or with the national teams, with national teams, I would say less than FIFA, because with national teams, we travel, like I said earlier, tomorrow we're going to Tajikistan, then coming back Saudi Arabia. We've been to Azerbaijan, Japan, Singapore, all over the place. We meet the people of those countries, but we don't have the time to actually, go in depth talking about many things. Usually what I do when I go in camps is just like, I try to harass everybody at the hotel, because those are the guys that I meet every day, So every time it's like, so tell me about your family. How many children do you have? So what do you do here? Where do you live? What's the best place to be, etc., etc. And trying to just open doors to an exchange of all this information that is very, very useful to diversity. FIFA, I says, is different because when I travel with FIFA, it's basically I go there and whether I do workshops or I meet with the officials from different football associations from those countries. My job with FIFA is mainly with Africa. So I've done it all from Cote d'Ivoire to Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Eritrea, Congo, everywhere I've been there. And every time I go there, it's always, when I come back, it's always it's always like a wow effect. It's like you always, the main thing that is suffocating the understanding of people about diversity is the expectation, if I may say so. Lack of education, expectation. Everybody expects the other person in front of them to act or to behave or to be in a certain way. And that what puts in a wall between people, is that we always expect, we want everybody to think like us, to understand us. And I think that humanity doesn't do, I'm saying humanity like philosophically, but there isn't enough effort from us, including myself in humanity, to try to go towards others. Yeah, that's diversity. I would say in 3 words: acceptance, education, communication.
Okay. What do you think is the role, Karim, that sports? Because you said earlier that okay, so you travel to these different places, you don't really have a chance to really interact with most people besides the okay, tell me about your family. But it's still, I would still say it's something, because others
Mm-hmm.
don't really interact at all. At least you have that opportunity to reach out, right? So I think that I still think it's positive. But let's go back to football. How has football given you, how is football important to kind of bridge the gap in regards to diversity, right, in the world? How do you use football to make the world a better place?
Um, well, I would say from my experience, first of all, from what I observed, from looking I worked in France for about 3 years. Then I've done the United Arab Emirates, and now I'm in Jordan. Um, let's say in all these 3 countries, when you step onto a football field, is literally everybody is equal. When I say step, I'm not like literally stepping on a football field, but when you are in that environment of a football field, I personally, I don't know other experiences, but I've been in football for 18 years now, and I've worked with all nationalities, literally all nationalities, like from Syria, from Germany, from Holland, from France, from Italy, all the nationalities. I worked with Christians, I worked with Muslims. And the good thing about football is like when we are together in that environment of football, it's like all of that disappears. It's like nobody cares about the other person, which nationality they are, or or what religion they are. It's like all what matters is just be together, help the team to succeed, hope to win. Doesn't happen very often, unfortunately, but
We'll get to
finger, fingers crossed. So that is like, I think that's the magic of football, especially why I'm saying, because I worked in the UAE and in Jordan, and people sometimes, I have some conversation with people that it's not to blame what I'm going to say, because I don't blame anyone, but like sometimes I hear people like, oh, they should travel. I encourage people to travel, but I'm sorry, man, but when you see the cost of living today, not everybody can afford to travel. So
unfortunately.
it's that that's why I'm insisting that it's not to blame what I'm saying, but not everyone has the opportunity to travel, and traveling um, helps realize what's diversity and helps to understand other aspects of from other cultures and etc. So I discuss sometimes with some of my friends and some people like from my neighborhood in the UK, because I'm based there originally, and then when I discuss with them, they always ask me like, is it safe in Jordan? I mean, with what's happening today, nowadays, unfortunately, I understand everyone who would ask that question, like even myself, sometimes like, okay, is it safe? It's sad, but what can we do? Like, we all hope for peace in the world, and that, I don't know if that day will happen, but let's hope and pray for peace for everyone. Um, so I understand them when they ask me that question now, but before the events that are happening now, I get those questions a lot. When I moved to Abu Dhabi, it was in 2008.
Mhm.
The UAE and Dubai, they weren't that at that level in 2008 in comparison to now. Now, when you say, okay, and I'm going to Dubai, you're like, oh yeah, we know what's Dubai.
Yes, it's a
In
popular
2000,
destination right
so in 2008, they were famous, but not as much as today. But anyway, so 2008 is like when I was moving from France to the UAE. Everybody, are you sure of your decision? Is it safe? Um, I had some questions. Is like, do you think they would have Wi-Fi there so you can communicate? It's like, dude, 2008. so, so in Jordan, in Jordan, it's another story. So in Jordan, I understand those questions, and I understood those questions before, considering the geopolitical situation. I mean, around here, it's not, let's say, the most peaceful countries in terms of politics, etc. So it's a question that arises naturally, when you see the
now.
neighbors around Syria from here, Iraq, and with all, I hope, peace for everybody and all the countries. So yesterday, this is a story. Yesterday, I was going in the lift, and a French couple, um, they were, let's say, in their 60s,
Mhm.
and we were going down the lift, and she asked me with a French accent, she's like, are you a football team? So I was like, are you friends? She said, yeah. So then I started talking. So then I
Are you-
started talking in French. The first thing she said, she's like, the sentence was exactly like, they are actually such kind people here. So that's when I'm like, in a joking manner, like, what do you mean by actually? It's like, you could have said they're just nice people. She's like, what do you mean by actually? She said, to be honest, this is the first time we traveled to this region. We've never
Yeah.
been here. This is the first time we traveled to this region. And all our life, we had like a specific idea about this culture, you know, or whatever I did. I don't want to go into details. But she's like, when we came here, she's like, the generosity of people, um, the understanding of people is like she said they treating us literally like we were family members, and that's regardless of which country we come or which religion we have, what religion we have, etc. So that's why I encourage. It's very important to encourage people to travel, etc. And as I said, football is a magical place. When we gather now here, for example, in our team, Jordan national team, we have Christians in the staff from Philippines, we have from Syria, we have one guy from Ireland, and you don't feel that, like when you look. Sometimes I watch the news, the mainstream media, and I question myself, and it's like, why can it be like we are in football? It's like, I don't care what you are on the paper, what's written on the paper, your religion, your nationality, or whatever, how do you look? It's just like human to human. Literally, it's human to human. And our football players, we have 24 players. We are in a country that is majoritarily Muslim. There is I don't want to say wrong percentage, but I think there is about 10-15% Christian community living here.
Okay.
And you can see them, for example, our players, we have one player who's Christian. You would think that guy would never have the armband of captain of the team. Well, that's the guy they chose to have him as a team captain. So there is no discussion of, oh, he is from a different faith, he cannot be team captain because we are a majority this faith or whatever, etc. So no, it's a team. We are together in one boat, metaphorically. So he's the most adequate to be captain. Well, he can be captain. Here in Amman, you see as well that. I mean, sometimes I drive with a car and you see on a Friday prayer, you have a mosque, one of the biggest mosques in Amman, and in front of it there is a church. And one day I was with the car there, and the mall is near the mosque. I had lunch, I was coming out, the guys were coming out of the mosque, so I met with a person that I knew, etc., and we were discussing, etc. And then other people were coming out of the mosque. And then they called each other and they know each other, etc. And again, it's like, in my mind, I'm like, why can it be like this peaceful all over the world, regardless of anything's human to humans? I always say it, since politics and borders got involved, that's when all the problems started.
When all the problems started. Well, hopefully the world can learn a lot from what football brings, and you're in a great position where you're able to interact with people from different cultures. Speaking about
Yeah.
cultures, can you tell the people, my viewers, how many languages you speak? Because I always found that fascinating, especially when you and I were traveling in Italy and seeing how fluent you were. Can you share that
Uh, I will tell you another story after that. I speak 5 languages, so it's Arabic, French, English, Romanian, and Italian. So Arabic, because I'm born in Tunisia and the education is Arabic and French. Born in Tunisia and the education is half Arabic, half French. Then French, obviously, when I left to France and continued my studies there.
Mhm.
Romanian, my mother is Romanian, obviously.
Mhm.
Italian, Rai Uno, the Italian TV channel. So, wait, when I was a kid in Tunisia, 2 channels, 3. The Tunisian one in Arabic. So I was like, come on, I speak Arabic the whole day. Let me watch 2 others. And basically, we had 3 channels, Tunisian channel, French, and Italian. So at school, I was speaking French. The whole day, I was speaking Arabic. I'm like, come on, like I'm gonna watch something else. So all the Disney movies, they were in Italian, and basically Romanian is a 90% linked to Italian, so that helped as well to be to Italian. Yeah, the story I wanted to tell you, because we are in this hotel here in Amman, the Landmark Hotel. I'm not promoting it. But in this hotel, it's basically, I mean, you know, Amman, as I said, the geopolitical situation and the geographical position of Jordan makes it a hub for the multinationals. So UN, UNICEF, and all of those, they are based here. Sorry. So I was talking downstairs, sitting at the lobby, and the guys were coming with like UNRWA. I mean, they are like a charity organization. They were coming with their bags and they sat next to me. And then they were talking. I was talking to them in English, and then the guy spoke French. So I turn and I speak to him French, and he's like, "Yeah, how many languages you speak?" And I was like, so proud of myself. I was like, five. I was like, five languages. Like, oh, great. We have that woman there. She's sitting there. I think she was the manager or whatever. She speaks eight. I'm like, okay, great. I've got a long way to go then.
Wow. Well,
So yeah.
it's one of the reasons I really always admire you. You know this. I mean, speaking to European friends, North African friends, just having, learning about diversity through their lens is very interesting. You're talking about languages. You speak five languages, which I find fascinating. And over here in North America, we're here struggling with the French and the English, and it's just fascinating when you say you meet someone who speaks fluently eight languages like it's nothing. I just find that fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like, North America, as we all know, English is the dominant language nowadays. Arabic is very useful, I think, nowadays. Other languages, I mean, all the languages are useful. If they're not useful in your everyday use, they would certainly be useful because they would do whatever neural connection in your brain that will help you in a certain way. I'm not specialist in that field. But in English, I think in North America, English is the main language. So I think maybe, I'm saying maybe, I'm not talking like as an expert, but I'm saying maybe people, okay, English is the universal language. Why would I bother, to learn other languages? But for example, in Tunisia, you have to learn that language because when you have your A level, you need to travel abroad to study and to be a doctor or be something. So here, learn French. Here, learn English. There, learn that language in case you need them. In case you need them sometime in the future. So yeah.
Of course. Well, I'm sure it's been very useful to you speaking five languages. Tell me about the team. Obviously, the team is mostly players from Jordan, but you mentioned
Mm.
there's one Irish player on the team. The,
Um, the foreign people are staff members, but the
okay,
players they're all Jordanians,
okay,
Jordanian nationals. Yeah.
okay. So tell me about the day to day for your perspective from a head of performance coach. How does it work?
So my job consists in basically, long story short, making the players fit to be able to compete. Let's say not internationally, but continentally, mainly because we are mainly in Asia.
Hmm.
Um, we had some friendly games. We had a friendly game with Norway last FIFA dates about a month and a half ago.
How'd that go?
6-0.
Okay, my apologies.
I'm not gonna say who won, obvious. I mean, it's the team Haaland guy of Manchester City. So he's the scorer in the Premier League. So imagine. So yeah. And he didn't play, by the way.
You didn't
So,
play. Lucky for you.
dude, we were at 5-0. And I was on the bench, on the side bench, warming up our players, to do substitution. And I see Haaland standing up from the bench and starting warm up. I think I never prayed like that in my life. I was like, please, God, don't make him play. Please let him sit out there. 5-0, it's already an embarrassment. And then we got the sixth goal and it ended without him playing. It's like, okay. So, yeah, my job is to make them fit. I'm in charge of nutrition / supplements. Obviously, when you compete with tough teams like Japan, Australia, these teams in Asia, I'm talking, there is
Mhm.
Iran is tough as well. So there are a few tough teams here. So when you compete internationally with teams that have national teams that have players who evolve in the Premier League or in the Bundesliga in Germany. Those guys, when they gather in a national team, they're like machines. We are still at a lower level. We are progressing step by step. But when we face those teams, obviously, we have to be very fit. And the supplements and nutrition, of course, is the fuel. We have to keep the players ready. And on the other side, I work with FIFA as technical consultant. So basically, I am mainly doing workshops and consulting with football associations in Africa now. And then recently they added as well West Asia, Middle East to my map.
Okay.
So basically, I just do workshops in terms of sports science, coaching,
Mhm.
and consult with the football associations if they require any assistance in terms of developing plans for their performance units or for their national teams to progress physically.
Okay. You've never been approached by the Caribbean? They could use your help.
No, I have my friend. I would love that, to be honest. I have my friend. He travels. His name is Calderon, the son of the Argentinian Calderon player, and he travels a lot to that region.
Okay.
So I would love to go there as well. But I think the FIFA, they always send us where it's relatively close by to our location and to our expertise.
Okay. Hey, Kahim, tell me how do you view the Canadian team? I mean, you've seen our World Cup. We had a World Cup appearance.
Mhm.
How do you see that? If you followed, which I'm sure you have.
They could use the help of certain Karim Malouche if they want to anytime, and um, could do better. Sorry, I think they could do better. Now, I'd have no idea, to be honest, of the strategy they are adopting in their Canadian Football Association and what are their objectives. But I think they could do better because, I mean, they need to do better. I mean, when you compete with the teams from the same continent and you see the level of other teams, if you want to go further internationally, you have to raise the bar as well in terms of strategies and to be more, let's say, I wouldn't say aggressive, but yeah, more aggressive approach. Again, uh, I'm not familiar with their strategy, with their plans, etc., but they could do much better considering as well the population of Canada.
Hmm.
It's a big population. When you compare it to a country like Jordan, 10, 13 million, and then you compare with the population of Canada. I don't know how much is the population in Canada, but I'm sure is 10, even more than 10 times more than other countries. I always take that as a reference. Like if you have a country with a huge population and then you have a good strategy and a good plan to scout, because national teams and clubs, obviously, because the national team is basically the product of clubs, because with national teams, we gather the players only during FIFA dates, and
Hmm.
that is about 60 to 80 days during the whole year. The rest of the time, they are back with their clubs. So whatever the clubs they produce, that will be reflected in the national team. So I think Canada, with the population they have a good plan, a good strategy of scouting mainly, and good scouts. They can detect real good players, bring them into clubs, bring them into the training centers of the Football Association of Canada. On the long term, that would lead to positive results. I mean, I could, I don't know if I'm talking too much. You can stop me. You know me. When I start
No, no,
talking, I
no.
don't stop. So,
People are here to listen to you.
so I always give the example of Qatar. Qatar is like this big. It's tiny, and they started the famous sports academy called Aspire.
Hmm.
Now it's a reference, Aspire. So obviously they naturalized. I don't know if we say on naturalisé, naturalized
Hmm.
many players from different countries. I mean, it's some people find that controversial, but like, I mean, when you see, I mean, I don't know, many countries that have players from other nationalities, and it's absolutely normal. Why is it a problem with them? You know, so they started this Aspire in 2005, I think, and they worked on a long term, on a very long term. So when you see their population, which is about Qataris, 500,000, which is nothing, and they're not really that much into football. So you really struggle to find good Qatari players.
Mm-hmm.
And they built this Aspire in 2004. Everybody was like, oh, come on. What are you going to do with this population and with this many few players? And then they started naturalizing players. They brought players from Qatar, obviously. They worked. And in 2019, which is after 15 years, they won. No, sorry, before that, 2014 or 15, I don't remember. They won Asia Cup for the under 19.
Wow.
And that same team, the under 19 that won Asia Cup, they worked with them until 2019, where they reached the first team level, and they won Asia Cup with the first team in 2019. So two continental cups for a country that has never qualified anywhere, has never done any achievement, big achievement in football. To do that, it's so that is a long-term plan basically. And yeah, they kept stability into their organization. No much firing of coaches, etc. They let coaches work. They did not require results. They just want, okay, of course, there is like KPIs, the key performance indicators. They have to keep an eye on it.
Mm-hmm.
But continuity, stability, and a good and a strong plan.
And there
They
we
have
go.
a unit like the performance unit, fitness, all from Italy, Italian fitness coaches, etc. The technical, tactical, they're all Spanish. I mean, Spanish football is on
So
another
they
level.
bring tiki taka.
Exactly.
Yes.
The
So
the
they bring
medic
that
the
basically
medical, yeah. The
all
medical
the
is
expertise.
French, Dutch, German. So yeah, so they literally pulled in all the expertise from everywhere.
Yeah.
They paid a lot, of course, to bring experts very successful at the peak of their career. You have to pay. So they did invest a lot, but it paid.
And it goes back to what we were saying. Here's that diversity again. You have football bringing in expertise from different countries, and you see the result. The end result is usually success. So
Yeah,
hopefully Canada takes notes and they listen to your great advice and call on
I
you
hope
for
so.
your
I hope so.
expertise.
I hope so. I hope so. I see the women's team
Yes,
much better than the men's team.
we have a solid,
Yeah.
solid women's team. Very exciting to watch. I mean, we're very excited to see the men's team doing very, they did what they
Mm,
could, but it's great to have them perform at the World Cup against the heavyweights of the world. So I'm gonna wish you the
yeah.
best for your team. I know your team is trying to qualify as well, so I hope
Yes.
you get your appearance in the World Cup. That'll be fun.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Yeah, that would be fun, to be honest. It's a great tournament. I mean, it's the best tournament you can participate in as a football coach. So I hope so. I hope the next World Cup I won't be watching it on the TV, but I will be right there.
Hope so for you, my brother. Listen,
I
Karim,
hope so.
thanks a lot. I appreciate your time to
My
giving
pleasure.
us
Thanks. It's been
this perspective of diversity through your lens for Middle Eastern, European lens is very appreciated, and wish you all the best in all your endeavors.
thank you, thank you, thank you, my friend. Thank you. It's been a pleasure to see you. As I said, I mean, please let's do some more Skyping with the whole family so we can see each other more often. The
We
kids
will.
are growing; they have to meet at least through Skype.
I would love it. I would love it. All right, Karim,
Thank
appreciate
you
you.
very much. Thanks for the invitation. Honestly, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure talking.
Thank
And
you. Stay.
I'm apologies for the audience if I spoke too much. So I hope it wasn't too boring. So yeah,
No, not at all. Not at all. It's everyone's going to learn something from this. Your expertise. Your
I appreciate
travels.
it.
Your views on things is very interesting, and that's why I have these conversations is to speak with people who have different views, who have different experiences, and you're definitely a person that I really appreciate talking to. So thanks a lot. Hello to the family
Amazing.
for
Thank
me,
you
and
very
we'll
much.
talk to you soon.
Will do.